All right, Lara Trump joins us tonight to talk more about this. Lara, good to have you on the show. Good to see you again. The midterms are over, and suddenly the media has started to do its job when it comes to covering Joe Biden, which I think shocked everybody, the way this story is being covered. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's really interesting, Rob, the timing of this. As you point out, these documents apparently were found, and I think we kind of have to use air quotes around that because someone knew that they were there for 6 years, but they were recovered prior to the midterm elections. You think about how that might have swayed the midterm elections, and could people have changed some of their votes as they looked at this? We know that 1 in 6 people who cast a vote for Joe Biden in the 2020 election, had they known the Hunter Biden laptop story was real, would not have voted for Joe Biden. So you have to ask yourself, why now? Why did they finally decide to come out with this? Perhaps it was going to leak out and they were sort of forced to do it. But it is interesting timing. It's also interesting that we did not see any unprecedented pre-dawn raid of Joe Biden's Delaware home, of course, like we saw of Mar-a-Lago, my father-in-law. But then you have to kind of notice, I think, the differences too, which is that my father-in-law has maintained that every document that was at Mar-a-Lago was declassified by him, which is the right of the President of the United States. He has the authority, while president, to classify and declassify documents. These items in question of Joe Biden's were not declassified. The vice president, of course, does not have that authority, and they were taken while Joe Biden was vice president. So there are a lot of differences. And I think, quite frankly, for most Americans, a lot more questions than answers today.
Yeah, there certainly are. The fact that Biden had the audacity to go on 60 Minutes, you know, and skewer former President Trump for holding these kinds of documents, when when he got that question, he knew that he had done the same. He knew that Obama had done the same. The audacity to do that. What do you think about that?
Well, Rob, we have to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that Joe Biden probably forgot. We know that he's had some mental cognitive issues as of late. But that said, yeah, I mean, it's obvious hypocrisy. And I think the American people very clearly see that. This is the reason that people have very little trust in our politicians and our institutions at this point. The fact that you had Joe Biden out there ranting and raving about something that Donald Trump supposedly did. Meanwhile, you could argue that what he did, Joe Biden did, was far worse, because as we just talked about, he was vice president when these documents went to his home. They were stored, by the way, in his garage by his gas-guzzling Corvette.
Yeah,
I mean, this is not a secure location.
We've got the video right here that was from the campaign. That's the Corvette. You see the boxes, the garage, which doubled as storage for his Corvette and apparently for classified documents, perhaps in those boxes in the background there. Trump's documents seemed to be random and nostalgic. Even the Washington Post a couple months ago admitted that the documents that Trump kept seemed to be more about ego, cool stuff that he might have wanted to keep from being in the White House. Biden has kept information, top secret information, about Ukraine, which is a nation that his son pulled loads of cash out of for a no-show job. A scheme that we all know encompasses Joe Biden as well, a money-making scheme that, and we know that Hunter has been paying for a lot of the things that Joe Biden, the luxuries that Joe Biden has had over the years. A country where Biden fired a prosecutor for looking into the corrupted company that hired Hunter Biden. You keep a document or documents like that, it's a lot different than what we know about what your father-in-law kept. I think that's the big story.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, I think among my father-in-law's documents was maybe a handwritten note from Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Well, of course, we know, Rob, don't forget, whenever this all broke down with Mar-a-Lago, everybody said, oh, it's nuclear codes that Donald Trump has. Don't forget that portion of it. But you're right. What are these documents that Joe Biden has? I think we need full transparency here. What we know is that some of these documents relate back to Ukraine. As you pointed out, we know the relation of the Biden family in Ukraine, Hunter, Burisma, all the money that has transpired between that country and the Biden family. There are a lot of questions surrounding what those documents were. There apparently are some documents as well about Iran. Think about the implications of that sort of thing. The Biden Penn Center, where the initial documents were found back in November, don't forget, that center was paid for with tens of millions of dollars from where? From China. It is all a very messy situation. There is one thing that they all have in common, whether it's China, Ukraine, Russia, a lot of questions. It's all the Biden family, and the American people deserve the truth, transparency, and it's for the future of the security of our country.
Yeah, let's be honest. The Biden Penn Center think tank, which is just comical, was just nothing more than Biden and the University of Penn's way of bringing in a ton of cash from China, which is being used for nefarious reasons in this country, and they're getting rich off of that. We can all agree on that. It's deeply corrupt. And at least somebody out there is starting to cover it. At least the media is starting to cover it. Lara Trump, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on.
You got it. Thanks a lot.